Hey, what's up, you guys? I'm bringing you another book review today, and I'm going to give you guys a heads up. If you haven't read the first book in this series, go ahead and save this review for after you read the first book, because I'm going to try my hardest not to, but I might let a little something slip from the first book. I'm going to really try hard not to, but if I do, I'm sorry. If you haven't read the first book, you might just want to save this review until after you've read the first book, so that way you kind of have an idea of what I'm talking about if I do let it slip. Like I said, I'm going to try really hard not to, though. So the book I'm reviewing today is Volume 2 of the Runelords Saga, which is the Brotherhood of the Wolf. I finished this, when was it, Friday? I think I finished it Friday, but my husband was home for a 4-day weekend, so that's why I'm not posting this until today. Let me just start this review with the blurb that's on the back of this from Kevin J. Anderson, because this should sum it up really well, because I feel like he did not lie when he blurbed this and what he said in his blurb. Kevin J. Anderson blurbed this as, Brotherhood of the Wolf continues the intriguing premise established in the Runelords, but with more intensity in every way. Passion, tragedy, heroism, and sheer epic scope. He did not lie. Like, I thought stuff was going down in the first book. No. Stuff happens. Like, you find out what this thing is. There's just so many problems come up in this book. Rajatan is still causing problems, just other places. Gaborn starts having some more issues with his new role as, I want to say it, but it's going to spoil things. He starts having issues with his new role, and Iome is trying to help him deal with these issues, and finding out that she's having to deal with issues of her own. And Borenson goes off on a quest by himself, but his wife wants to go with him. She can't. He doesn't let her, so she is mad about it and ends up starting to hang out with Iome more. And so they kind of go through the problems together, their own problems together, and stuff starts happening. It really doesn't pick up in scope until about half to 2/3 of the way through, but it's definitely worth it to get there, because, like, oh my god, this was just crazy. Like, the final battle in this book, if you haven't watched Lord of the Rings, I don't know where you've been. But if you think back to the Two Towers, when you're looking at Helm's Deep and the battle at Helm's Deep, that is what the final battle in this book reminded me of, because it was just so massive in scope, and it really gave me that Helm's Deep feel. Like, you've got this smaller-ish, it's not a small force by any means, held up in Karis, which is, I guess technically it's the capital of Mystaria, but it's a little confusing on which city is the capital of Mystaria and which one is not, because they talk about the Court Tides city, and I guess that's where the king lived, but Karis is the main city in Mystaria that they talk about in this book. And it's basically a Helm's Deep situation here, where you've got a smaller force held up in a fortress, a very well fortified fortress for its time, and then you've got just this massive, never-ending opposing army just closing in and taking over, and it just gets crazy. I believe I mentioned the Reavers in my review for the first book. They cause a whole lot more problems in this book. Rajatan is not the only issue anymore. The Reavers are starting to cause massive problems. They are trying to basically wipe humanity off the face of the planet. And it gets crazy. The scope of this battle just gets crazy. I think when they talked about it, they said that the just the mass army of the Reavers, and this is not just, if you go on Google and try to find a picture of these things, they kind of remind me of like six-legged Cthulhu looking things, and some of them are massive. Most of them look like the pictures you'll find on Google, but there are other kinds of Reavers also. And between the regular, like the mages and the blade bearers and the fell mage and just all of the other small reavers that have different functions, I think the army, gosh, I want to say the army got into the 100,000 range. It was absolutely ridiculous, and Reavers are absolutely freaking ganic. Like, I think the smaller, like the blade bearers that they talk about, they say they're about 20 feet tall, give or take, and their heads are the size of wagon beds. Their swords, the ones that carry swords, their swords are like 6 times the length of a man, and their hammers, some of them carry hammers, and they're called glory hammers. And it explains why they're called glory hammers in the book, and I don't blame them for calling them glory hammers, because I think what they said in the book is they make a glorious mess out of everything they touch. Basically, if you get hit by a glory hammer, you're obliterated. There's nothing left of you, and you're lucky if there is anything left, but you are dead. The heads of their glory hammers weigh between 600 and 800 pounds, and the handles on these hammers are a good probably 10 to 15 feet long. And the fell mage is even more massive than the blade bearers. And there are tons and tons of blade bearers and mages, just basic mages. And there's even more of the smaller ones. The fell mage is just, oh my god, like, I didn't think that anything good could come out of that. And of course, nothing good came out of it. But this book, I gave 5 stars on Goodreads, even though it did take a little bit to pick up, because I'm just like, I'm so into these books right now, because like I said in the first book, I was coming off a Wheel of Time and just wanted something else really similar to that. I keep messing with my nose. My allergies are killing me today. But I wanted something coming off Wheel of Time that was still kind of on the same level as Wheel of Time, and of course nothing is on that high of a level, but I wanted something close, and this definitely fills the gap and fills the void, because I plan on rereading Wheel of Time, but not anytime soon, because that was a huge commitment. Anyways, back to this. These books are definitely very good. Like, I have not yet been disappointed by these books. And, yeah, definitely recommend these if you like Wheel of Time. I think that's all I really had to say about this book. I'm not currently reading the third one like I did with this one. I picked it up right after I finished the first one, and it was a little difficult to finish this book, so I'm giving it a break, and I'm going to pick up the third book at the beginning of next month, because I've got the one readathon going on right now, and then I've got another book that I really, really want to read this month. Where did it go? I really want to start the Faithful and the Fallen series by John Gwynne, and I have the first 2 books already, so I'm going to start Malice right after this readathon is over. And I'm audiobooking Firestarter right now, and I'm audiobooking the Dark Tower series. So, yeah, I've already got the rest of my month filled up for May. But I do plan on picking up this book the third book in the series. Wizardborn is the third book in the series. I do plan on picking that up at the beginning of June. I think what I'm going to do is just try and read like maybe one book a month, or read a book from this series and then read another book and then pick up a book from this series, because I don't want to get burned out on this series because I am reading them in physical format, not audiobooks. I feel like if I just try to marathon these books, I'm just going to get burned out on them, and I'm never going to finish the series if I get burned out on the series. So I want to take my time with it and enjoy it and just stay sucked into it the whole time. And I'm really looking forward to picking up the third book. So yeah, definitely, if you liked Wheel of Time, definitely pick these up. And if you really enjoyed the first one, you're going to like this one more. I know it's going to start really slow, but just trudge through it and get to the end where all of the exciting stuff happens, and you won't feel bad about it. Next week I should have the wrap-up video for you guys for the one readathon, and I will I'm going to do mini reviews for the books that I finish for that readathon, instead of doing separate videos for all of the books that I did, because that's a lot of videos to do. I think I'm looking at finishing, I had 4 books on the TBR, and I think I'm probably only going to finish 3, but I still will have completed all of the challenges. But anyways, I will post that hopefully on Monday next week, because the readathon ends on Saturday, and then yeah, so I will be picking up the third book in this series to read the beginning of next month. And until next time, y'all have a fantastic week, fantastic month, and I will see you later.